Hi, everybody. Hello.
Hello, everyone. So good to be here with you today.
Yes, it is time for our Facebook Live, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Live with Lynne. And I am so excited. I have my friend Colton with me. Say hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Colton Withers here. Happy to be here with my friend Lynne.
Oh my God, my Apple Watch just said the DRG group is live. And I'm like, yes, we are. So as
It's
you always know,
time.
we start with a question that's not work related to warm you up. And so in light of this week's Oscars, I'm not going to ask you about who you would slap, but I am going to ask you, what color would you wear to the Oscars and who would be your designer? Like, there's Julie, there's some of our friends. What color would you wear and who would be your designer? Now, for me, Colton, and it's very simple. Christian Siriano is my designer because he designs
Yes.
women who have real bodies. And
Amen.
so many like people like Melissa McCarthy and Leslie Jones and other people have gone to him when they haven't been able to get dressed by other houses because it's not
Yes.
exactly size inclusive. So, and my color, my signature color,
Blush and
blush and
bashful.
bashful, would of course be sparkling emerald green, but I'd go for a teal as well, like a
Mm.
ocean blue, perhaps, but something that would go with some green emeralds or my eyes.
Yes. We
Yes,
love the jewel tones,
I love
aren't
it.
you,
We are
Mama?
we are jewel tones here at DRG Group. Um, okay, Anna would buy something off the rack from an unknown, like a hidden designer.
Now, Anna, I may be more in your team. I, I don't know if I have a designer per se, excuse me, but I would love to get prepped by Jonathan Van Ness. I need
Oh,
a sassy pep talk, a body positive moment before I get my
yes,
picture taken and a microphone shoved in my face and ask some silly
yes.
questions. So,
Jonathan
Jonathan
Van
Van Ness.
Ness from Queer Eye would be
Yes.
ideal, but I need all the Queer Eyes to come with me. Like, I need all of them. I need Anthony to feed me some snacks. I need
Yes.
Bobby to pick the chair I'm gonna sit in. I need
Right.
Karamo to tell me about myself. And Julie would
Anna, you
also
know
go
it.
with Christian Siriano, and she and Ashley are wearing blue. So, what color are you wearing to the Oscars this year, folks? Since we're all invited, and what designer? Like, do you have a designer you've always wanted to wear? Like,
These are
has it?
choices.
Yeah, like I love asking these fun imaginatorious questions. That's a word I just made up.
Here we
Imaginatorious.
go.
Yeah, because it's Wednesday and my brain power is slowly fading. And you have a Ted Lasso cup. You
I
know,
do.
a
I'm
new
so
episode dropped
excited.
today. And
I'm
I'm
so
like,
excited.
I'm paralyzed. I don't know if I should watch today's episode or spend,
Hmm.
nope, I can't spend Saturday because it's the NCAA tournament starting tomorrow.
Oh,
So
yes.
I was going to say spend Saturday watching seasons 1, 2, and then starting 3.
We did that earlier this week.
I love Ted Lasso so
Same.
very much. Um,
Absolutely.
so, and I'm going to watch the tournament. So maybe what I do is put Ted Lasso on hold until after the tournament and binge it all at once and just.
Sandy says that too. She says, wait a few weeks. So,
Well, Sandy's at UCLA and they love their basketball there too. So, and I'm a South Carolina Gamecock, and our ladies are numero uno. And my mother's
ooh,
alma mater, where you just quit your job at Purdue, is
baller up.
also numero uno.
We'll
So,
take that one seed. We'll take that
yes,
one seed.
yeah. So my Canadian friend Heather just texted me and said she wants jewel tones, but she wants a Canadian designer. So the designer
Ooh.
would be kind and they would say sorry a lot. Maybe they would even sprinkle some maple syrup on it just for stereotypes, just for fun, right? So
Why not?
why not? What? So everybody, bring us your fundraising questions. Bring us your life's greatest puzzles, all that good stuff. But I have with me Colton, who I have known for
10 plus
10
years, maybe?
years now, and who we convinced each other for him to quit his job and join DRG Group full time. And Colton has a very fancy title. He's the director of operations. So
no regrets. No regrets.
no regrets. And he does not sit there with an operation game all day and go, bzz, bzz, but
is there water on the knee?
Right?
Operation.
Yeah, like I kind of figure like dealing with DRG's operations kind of is like zzz, zzz some days because you have to basically read my mind and that of 15 other people.
I'm a mind reader. There's a song about that too.
Yeah, all while herding the cats and organizing us. And y'all, Colton he is whipping us into shape. So our base camp is like alive and kicking. Like I finally feel like I'm getting what I paid for. But tell us, Colton, what else you get to do with the DRG group.
It's so fun, Lynne. I really, obviously I'm on air live, but I really have enjoyed the transition and move to Team DRG land. And one of the things I'm super excited about is to be on the road with DRG at our upcoming conferences. We're going to have a conference, what is that, a week or so from now in Chicagoland, which is baffling, but it's going to be so fun, Lynne. Did I tell you that we are so close to selling out that conference?
I think we sold it out. I'm not
We
sure.
sold it out. Okay, friends, but tell the people, Lynne, you can still join online
virtual.
For a segment. Yep, for a segment of it. Mm-hmm. You probably will not see me, but you may hear my voice or feel my typing fingers. Yeah. Ashley says Chicago is sold out, so it is.
But do you know what's after Chicago?
What's after Chicago?
Really horrible destination that people may not want to come to.
It's a little dry.
It does. I do require hand lotion.
Yep.
But the virtual experience is open, so that you can do in your pajamas. We won't judge.
Nope, not one bit.
Nope. But Vegas. We're going to Vegas in April.
Ooh, ooh.
Everybody who knows me knows how much I love Vegas.
Allison's going to see us in Las Vegas. Thank you, Allison.
I love a penny slot. I love a restaurant. I love Vegas's service mindset. Our hotel is the Cosmopolitan, which is my hotel in Vegas. Literally, I feel like I own it some days, but I don't. So we are going to be in Chicago.
Alyssa Bond is my sister. Look at her tuning in. God love you, sis.
We're in Chicago.
I'm going to be in Chicago, honey.
And then Vegas. And then in the fall, in November, for all my friends who love maple syrup, we're coming to Toronto. I don't have the exact dates, but we're coming to Toronto.
Look at us, an international operation, Lynne.
We're global.
We're moving. I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be there as well. And I am so excited because randomly enough, I have never been to Canada. So it'll be a first time for me.
How is that possible, Colton? You love things Canadian.
I love all things Canadian. I just never had the occasion, but looking forward to it.
He is. He's coming to Toronto with us. So we're so very excited. So you've organized our base camp. You're coming with us on conferences. You killed a webinar on Tuesday that was just on acknowledgements with Angie Jones. That was just out of this world phenomenal.
Well, I appreciate that. We have some amazing supporters.
I think there are people wanting me to be replaced by you. So just in case I fall ill, it was Colton, Dateline. And so what else are some of your pet projects or some of the things you're working on? Oh, Colton is in charge of all the downloads we have. So tell them about that.
Send us some downloadables. So if you're like me, you spend some serious time trying to scour the internet for a shortcut. And that's what I'm going to call it, is a shortcut. Because you're like, this is not a new invention. There is nothing new under the sun, as the old adage goes. But a lot of times you can get something a template. You can get a starter pack, an example that's really going to speed up your processes. So we manage a downloadables program here at the DRG group. Quarter 2, Lynne, is going to be some stewardship in a box series of behavior-based. You're going to love it.
In a
And
box.
quarter 3, we are going to start taking some crowdsourced suggestions. Y'all write in to us at info@donorrelations.com. Tell us what you want. Put it in the comments. We read these here too. But what can we make that'll make your life easier? We're your friend in this business.
What's something you always wanted a template for? That is Colton's mission in life, to get you a shortcut, to get you a little copy and steal everything, as we call it. And so those are really things that he's leaning into. Day of Giving inspiration. Ooh, yes. We love sharing, Anna. So we have our samples gallery. Those are free that people have submitted. And then we also have our shortcuts, which we have actually manufactured from years of experience.
Yes. And Allison, I did get your email. So I have added that to quarter 3 list. So thank you so much for writing in.
Yeah. So we want to get you the tools that we didn't have. Amanda wants to know how to do his plant wall. Amanda, I was so jealous of Colton's plant wall that I had to come up with my own, and I made my friend sit on the weekend and like help me curate my wall, and I still have work to do.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, but yeah, Colton's plant wall is something to be desired. So
it keeps me moving and grooving. I'll tell you what.
Yes, we have some
great questions.
Yeah, we have some really great, gift agreements, expendable project. Oh, we've got some good suggestions, but we also have some questions. So I want to acknowledge some more questions. So Julie is our friend at Cornell, and Cornell, I'm going to tell you, I did not go to Cornell. I went to the University of South Carolina, go Cox, because I didn't graduate with any debt. It was free for me because of a merit scholarship. Thank you, donors. But I give to Cornell every year, and I give to Cornell every year to A, be a part of their giving day, and B, so that I can get their loyal donor communications and then copy and steal them for my clients. I'm not even going to lie. It's the most brilliant program. But this morning, they sent me an email, and I already put it in my samples folder, Colton. And the subject line, and you're going to love this, was "You're perfect, Lynne spelled correctly, gold star." And I was like, I didn't know my mother worked for Cornell, but my mom doesn't think she's perfect. And it says, "Lynne, you have a perfect Cornell Giving Day record." And it has these cute little trophies that I've given to every day at Cornell every year. And it says, "Giving Day starts at midnight and we're counting on you again." And it's like, your gift can help Cornellians. And it's like, get ready. And I am like, ready. I already know where my gift is going. Now I won't be awake at midnight because mama is old, but I am totally doing that. And Julie, the Lynne, You're Perfect emails you guys do such a good job. So if you ever want a tip on how to do a giving day, stalk Cornell. They're freaking fabulous. So forking fabulous, as we say.
Yeah. Lynne, can I give you a question from Sandy from UCLA?
Of course. Sandy is one of our friends. She's always on, and she's one of our, and she even is implementing Otter at UCLA. So Sandy's been around for a long time.
Sandy says, "We are looking to specifically steward our $10 million plus, oh my goodness, fellowship donors. What can we do above and beyond what we do for other donors? Reports, meetings with students, meet with other donors, any other kinds of ideas?"
So I love that you're doing this effort, Sandy. The first thing you want to do, I assume you have more than one $10 million donor, which yay, UCLA, awesome. Right? Is I would meet with the gift officer and do what I would call a donor relations inventory of that donor. And what I do is I go through, and maybe Colton, this is something we can put into our downloadables for quarter 3.
Yep.
Or I call it Slumler Fall, Slummer Fall, or as I call it, the best season ever, college football season starts then, August.
There you go.
Right? I have so much bias towards American college football. But anyway, is I like to put in front of my gift officers an inventory. So not just the deep dive questions, but on a scale of 1 to 10, if Colton were the donor, How much does Colton like public displays of recognition, private displays of recognition? What are meaningful touches? Does Colton seek extra interactivity? How old is Colton? Because you might have a $10 million donor who's 48 years old, and you might have a $10 million donor that's 78 years old. Different.
I love that.
You can't throw the parade when the person's won their first championship. You got to wait until they've won multiple, meaning don't throw everything at them the first thing. And also, many donors are super humble and don't want us doing extra things. Maybe they just want a handwritten note, or maybe they want, some interactivity with someone that's particularly meaningful to them. I was always, I give to my alma mater. I'm happy to be a donor there. And I've always been both, I love the place, but been critical of their fundraising sometimes because it hasn't been ideal. And we got a new dean at our college, the College of Arts and Sciences. And his first thank you to me was not on par. And so I wrote him an email and said, I may or may not be the donor relations guru in my other life, but I'd love to help you with this. And, Dean, I wish you all the best. And if you need anything, please reach out. 30 minutes later, I had an email from him and he's like, can we talk on the phone? And I was like, we can. I'd love to see your face. Can we Zoom? And so we have been Zooming. And this past week, he invited me to join. He is wiping clean the board of visitors and redoing them. And what I said to him was, as a donor, I'm going to still give, even if I hear how the sausage is made, but I need you to listen to me. And I'm going to be honest. Are you prepared for that? Because if not, I don't want to sit on a board. I don't need to go to more meetings. And don't do any of this whining and dining. And he goes, I'm going to take you to a baseball game. And I said, score, because we have a great baseball team. But listen to those donors, Sandy. Make sure that you're not doing things that they don't need, want, or anything else. So again, just you got to listen to your folks. So, Colton, I got a question for you. Now, this one comes from my folks out in Spokane, Washington. Now, back in the day when I traveled, I used to go out to Spokane 4 times a year. I miss it because they have really cool mom and pop restaurants in Spokane.
I love that.
There's this little place called Brucci's that would make me a chicken Philly cheesesteak that would blow your mind. And those of you in Philly, don't criticize me, but Brucci's, you would leave there smelling like Brucci's, but it was a meal of like casual but epic proportions. So Christine works at Gonzaga, and they're my friends. They were able to help me see my Gamecocks play in the Final Four. Like, that's how precious they are to me in my heart. And they just wrapped a big Zags Give Day. But you know what happens when you blow the doors off something? Leadership wants it bigger and better the next year.
Yeah.
What are the future of giving days in higher ed or unrestricted fundraising in this economic landscape? What does that look like?
Wow. So, I think if it were me sitting down, I think about how we define success, right? So it's always more, more, and more. And sometimes that means more money, but maybe it also means more new donors, more alumni donors, more reactivated donors. I do love a giving day for the targeted time frame and as well as specific measurable results and goals. So maybe you set some challenges for first-time donors, first-time alumni donors, right? Go for those, particularly in higher ed. Everyone's chasing for that unicorn to make that first gift. And we have him. His name is Matthew Helmer. But we are also need to be mindful of trying to get more of our family involved in the giving process. So my suggestion for everyone on giving day is to think about what more means to you. And it's not always going to be dollars because it's just not always possible. Think about some other things that you can make use for a giving day and see if your leadership will buy on to that. And remember, donor acquisition is the most expensive thing you can do as a fundraising institution, and giving days are a great low cost or lower cost alternative to some of those other acquisition efforts. So giving days are here to stay. My Lynne, this is
Phonathon, right? As our acquisition channel.
Oh,
but
100%.
Here's what I will say, Colton. I totally agree with you. How do we redefine more? how do we also turn giving days and unrestricted fundraising into cause-based fundraising?
Oh,
So really, one of the things that inspires me about many of these giving days is when they say, give to an area that you care about,
right.
a cause you care about.
Right.
And so it's so interesting that Cornell's particularly does support a cause. So Avery, who works with us at DRG Group and also works at the University of Tennessee, he went online and went to make some gifts at some universities during their giving days last week. And he sent me a text and he said, hey, I went to make gifts during university giving days. And guess what? I had trouble trying to find, let's see, he said, I'm trying to give a little to all of these folks. He goes, I'm shocked at how many schools don't have a fund when I search for it with pride, LGBT, or queer in the search fields.
Right.
And I said, now this is a blog. I said, what are they couching it under, DE&I? And he said, no. He said, I have to go and find the school or department and then find the program just to find the fund. And he goes, I shouldn't have to know your organization
Right.
in order to find the fund. It should be right front and center. What do you care about? DE&I, great. Then underneath DE&I but we have to think about how we can support causes within our organizations, not just the bucket of unrestricted. So that really stood out to me last week when he sent me that text. I also am like, I'm creating mini-me's everywhere I go, because that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, I tried to make a gift and it was super hard,
right.
And here he is. And he's like, I tried to make a gift to support LGBTQ or pride or queer or words that he identifies with, right, and uses, but the search terms are like, does not compute.
Right. Lynne, you do such a nice job too of highlighting other schools or institutions that have like student emergency funds. And I think that is just making it a little bit more tangible and project based. We talk about the future of donor relations and fundraising, and you're right. It's all about creating those, micro campaigns and feeling that immediate impact. I think of, we love Charity Water, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
You can give to Charity Water and you know that 100% of your donation is going to support water efforts. I mean, there are things that our nonprofit peers outside of higher ed in particular are doing that we can emulate to create really a much more impactful donor experience. So I totally agree.
And I think to that point, the reason people are looking for inspiration in their giving days is because we've now been doing them for more than a decade. And they used to be new and shiny, like, oh, let's replace the phone-a-thon with digital. And I'll tell you where I think they're also headed is texting. Okay. My folks at Whitworth and some organizations are doing a great job with texting, and other organizations are doing, but a piss poor job in texting. I only get texts when it's their giving day and they want money. None of this engagement in between. Right. And yet I've got other people that are doing engagement in between that's brilliant. You can't just call on me when you want money. So I think that's really important. So we have our friend Lee, and it sounds like she's having a little bit of a struggle. She's new in her role as a director of development. I don't know what an HOS is.
I think it's head of school.
Colton, you with the smarts.
I think it's head of school. It's because I have that independent boarding school client.
You do. You know things I know. I'm like, HOS, like I could come up with a lot of
I type HOS for some of our acknowledgments. So that's how I know.
You're smarter than I am. This is why you folks hire smart people who fill your gaps.
Liz Lee says head of school. Thanks for confirming.
Thanks. So she's got a new head of school who's new to fundraising. The board chair is new to fundraising. And she suggested to her head of school about getting a consultant. She thinks we don't need one because of budgetary, but also thinks she can learn by attending one conference. So I am 20 something years into my career and did not know HOS was head of school. So I think I can't learn that by going to one conference, Colton. So so here's the truth. If you are passionate about your profession, you will learn every single day for the rest of your life. I learn new things about fundraising every single day. Now, that being said, there are areas where you can get expertise. It sounds like you're a solo practitioner there and as a director of development. So there could be some use for some money well spent in board training or individual training with your head of schools. Jim Langley is absolutely 100% fantastic and nothing else. If you're looking for board and leadership, I can't recommend him strongly enough. Professional development is one thing, but so is a hunger and a thirst and a passion about the field. So, if you're not curious about it, if you're not a lifelong learner, then, you can't do the learning for those folks. So I'm sorry to hear you're having a tough time. The other thing you have to remember is a conference or professional development, including ours, is just one person's opinion. And for every person that says, oh, I don't know, let's see, don't solicit first-time donors for a certain while, there's 10 people that say, solicit them right away. So you have to be careful and pick and choose your content. You want to get it from, sources that are, important to you. So you don't need to train the board, the head of school, and yourself. I would really think about incorporating a professional network. Your AFP chapter locally to you is a great resource. Now, I don't want to say thanks to the pandemic, but as a result of there's more online education than ever and more good online education than ever. So professional development's one thing, but also like getting together, maybe your board chair, your head of school, and yourself, and saying, what are our core values around fundraising? Mm-hmm. What are our beliefs? What are the things that we will and won't do for money? What is our philosophy? Are we a major gift shop? Are we an annual giving shop? Like defining it. Have you done any strategic, visioning, business planning? You need to do that kind of stuff so that you can set proper goals, and they need to be involved in it. But also, you can hire a retreat facilitator probably locally for very reasonable amounts of money that could save you or raise you lots of money in the long run. So don't be short-sighted when it comes to help. Do I think you need a consultant? No, consultants aren't for everybody. And here's what I think about consultants, including ours, is don't get a consultant if you can't invest fully monetarily, time-wise, and change management-wise. If you're not really ready and your organization is not ready to make the change, you'll waste your money and time, and the consultant won't be able to help you the way you want them to. But you might have somebody come in and facilitate a strategic discussion. Mm-hmm. That's great use of somebody's time. Doing some professional development, and then spend a little bit on professional development, and then pull out and say, now, what can we learn? Are there common reads we need to do? But setting your core beliefs, setting your fundraising strategy, that you can do yourselves with simple things like SWOT analysis, simple tools. You could even buy the startup kit that we have and go from there. But I wouldn't say you go running to a consultant first thing out. And here I am, that's how I make my living. Colton's like, shut up, Lynne, I'm helping with business development. But you have to understand that there's a right time and a place for everything. For example, we have people come to us and they say, well, I want an assessment. I want to know if my project's, my department's doing well. Okay, do you want an assessment, or do you want to do work after the assessment? Because an assessment without after work, without you implementing things, isn't going to do you a great bit of good. So we go through a very rigorous screening process where we work with you to even figure out do you need consultant? Do you need temporary help? Do you need, plans and thoughts? Like, what do you need? So again, we're happy to talk to you, Liz. Colton obviously is in the independent school world. We have a very many boarding school clients. And so please feel free to reach out to us. Colton, the lovely person who helps blow leaves at our lovely place, is here, and he always comes on Wednesdays. So let's unpack Kylie's question about what is the current trend in stewardship verbiage? I'm not sure what you mean by stewardship verbiage, Kylie, but if you could let us know, then Colton can embrace that question while I'm on mute for a couple seconds or a minute.
Yep, absolutely. Liz, the other thing I would say too is, hopefully you have a diverse board in terms of age and, worker bees and other things too, so that maybe you could have the board do a common read, like Lynne said, and then talk about some conversations. Books are super cost effective. The 4 pillars of donor relations is one Lynne wrote, but it's absolutely a requisite to getting into this work. So do a common read, see what happens. So Kylie says that we changed the focus to because of you. I think that's a great start. The other thing, and I have to shout out one of my alma maters, the Indiana University Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. But they did an amazing study that specifically mentioned whether or not donors were thanked for their gift or thanked for being a generous person. And being thanked for being a generous person resulted in increased fundraising and increased retention and increased dollars. This is actually done at a university. I think it was App State. But they did this study, and it is important to remember that you are thanking Lynne or Colton or Kylie for being a generous person. Wow, Lynne, we are blown away by your generosity. You have changed the face of our institution forever with your support. Ooh, kind of giving myself some goosebumps. But these are things that donors want to hear, right? They want to know that they are the type of people who are making changes. So I think that is a huge tip I have is we aren't thanking for the gift. We are thanking the donor for being the type of person who makes the gift. And it's a subtle shift, but it'll have some pretty profound results.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the second shift after because of you is shifting away from talking about money and talking about human beings.
Absolutely.
So thanking the human for who they are, not what they give. So again, that idea where you're like, dear grandma, thank you for the candlesticks. The candlesticks will turn bright in our, don't talk about the candlesticks, talk about how thoughtful your grandma is. Do you know what I mean?
Madeline Jones is chiming in here. Madeline is an associate on our team, and she says, positive labeling is a great way to tap into our donors' aspirational identity. It's a huge persuasive tool. So thank you for that, Madeline. And remember, everyone wants to be considered generous, right? If you are the type of person who makes donations, those things are going to fulfill your identity, right? Donors give for a reason. And of course, it's to make change through our organizations, but it's also because it lives out their values. So affirming that they did that is such a huge thing for retention. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm going back up. So Kylie, glad we were able to help you there. My leaf blower is so wonderful. So I'm so sorry about the background noise, you guys. Hopefully you can't hear it. Oh, no, he's coming closer. Colton, take Lindsay's question.
All right. I'm going to skip Lindsay for now, Lynne. Shannon has, what is your opinion on sending acknowledgement letters? Now, you know why I took this, Lynne. I'm running a few acknowledgement programs now, but for different clients. What is your opinion on sending acknowledgement letters via email, and how do you feel about e-signatures on those? We have some thank you and use it widely, but some are wanting to send the letters email versus mail. Is this too cold? No. Not at all. So I did a webinar, and Lynne was kind enough to give me some big kudos there. But we spoke a little bit about this, and thank you emails are a wonderful way because donors tell us time and time again through survey and through research done by the great Penelope Burke, donor-centered fundraising. Liz Lee, add that to your list. But they tell us time and again that they prefer a timely acknowledgement over a personal acknowledgement if you have to choose between the two. So timely is so important to getting donor acknowledgements out the door. So I think anything that encourages that timeliness is a huge tool for you and should be used. I see no problem with putting a digital signature on an email as long as it says my name spelled correctly with an E on the end, Lynne, in the subject line as well as in the body of the letter. you'd be amazed at the stuff you can do in Constant Contact or My Emma or whatever email system you can use to make it feel like it's personal. And then I love that you're using thank you. So why don't you pepper in some thank yous in addition to that email acknowledgement with a digital signature? You know, make it look more like interactive. Put some images, put some people, right? I love my higher ed friends, but let's put some people in those campus photos. But, you know, find ways to make it feel more alive, and people really won't think about the signature. They really, really won't.
Well,
Go ahead, Lynn.
we overemphasize who's signing this stuff like the person even knows them at all. Again, when the dean sent me the thank you note, I didn't know him from Adam, but I was like, your thank you note is not okay, right? But here's the thing. We have underestimated our donors when it comes to digital. A digital thank you is fine. Sometimes a video can be more powerful than a thank you note. You know what I mean? Sometimes. But here's what I'm going to say. Please don't take a PDF letter and attach it to an email.
Ooh.
That is not how you do this. It is in the body of the email or the thank you or however you want to deliver it. But please don't take a letter you would drop in the mail on letterhead and just attach it and send it. Like, that is no bueno. Do you know what I mean? And so I really want you to be thoughtful about how you execute on the digital send. That also predicates your success. So just giving you some thoughts there, and Colton's dead on. Again, many people switched to digital thank yous in the pandemic and have not looked back. So absolutely. So the timely acknowledgement is from Penelope Burke at Cygnus Donor Research. She wrote the book Donor-Centered Fundraising. And so she's fantastic. I think she's retired now, but Cygnus is continuing to survey. I'm going to answer Lindsay's question that I threw to you, and you were like,
no. No, sorry. I'm going to look at some resources now because Lindsay asked a follow up about the study. And Lindsay on Facebook, I'm going to find that for you because I thought it was a good
one. And we have a whole research section of our website that Ashley will link to. But the Lilly School of Philanthropy has so many resources that we're constantly referring to.
I gotcha.
Wednesday afternoon, folks. So Lynn, hey Lynn, we have a polo event in the fall, meaning you put on polo cologne and wear polo shirts, or there are people with horses and mallets. That's what I'm thinking. Pretty Woman stomping the divots, but I'm not sure. Benefiting our pediatric center at our children's hospital. 80% of our families are on Medicaid. Wow. We need a creative idea we can do pre-event to deliver mission to donors to motivate, educate, and inspire them to take action at the event during the fund a need. It's too hard to capture their attention at the event. Yes, because a polo has broken out and people smell like the green bottle of cologne that my brother wore in 1989. Last year, we shared a mission video we produced and shared via text message, but it didn't work that well. Yeah, no. So, So I don't know if you've been to a college football game recently in the past decade, Lindsay, but they will, at the quarter breaks or at TV timeouts, they'll try to recognize donors or like students who did things, and they have them wave and they put them on the Jumbotron, and the announcer says, and then some people applaud and people wave, and all in the middle of that, a football game breaks out. But nobody really pays attention to those things. It's really sad because I feel bad because those people are trying to be recognized, and you know what I mean? They're not. And so I want to encourage you that that's probably not the time, but it sounds like you're having some sort of call to action during the event. It says during the fund a need. I don't exactly know that specific what a fund a need is. I assume it's like a paddle raise, but rather than having like a video or something like that, I had an organization that they were forced to do a golf tournament because that's the only way you should do a golf tournament is if you're forced. And so we did mission moments at every tee. We did mission moments at all of the cleaning stations for golf equipment. balls. We did mission moments at all the beverage carts. So are there times, can you use effective signage? Can you use augmented reality where I walk up and put my phone up against something and a video? Like, how are you going to elicit interaction from me? Because just sending me a video isn't going to do it. So, I really want to think about that, and have you think about how are you going to incorporate those mission moments. Also, have you thought about sending it to people? I was just going to say, have you thought about sending it to Lori? Beat me to the punch. Great job, Lori. Sending it the night before or the follow-up. Again, not necessarily expecting it. And so thinking that way. So
Lindsay, I looked, and it's Patrick Dwyer at the Indiana University Lilly Family School of Philanthropy, and they did a text experiment about gratitude with Appalachian State. I couldn't find the name of the study, but hope that points you in the right direction. Patrick Dwyer, and the study school was Appalachian State. So hopefully that helps.
There you go. Facts, Colton, facts. I love it because, and it's hard because we keep so many surveys and like research facts up in our heads. Sometimes we don't do a good job of always putting them in our work. And Ashley, we're redesigning our website. Whew. That'll launch this summer, hopefully, knock on compressed wood. And research is something we're working on because I drop a lot of stats and statistics and facts, and I don't always drop the link to the survey at the same time because the links don't live in my head. And so Ashley's trying to get them to shake it out of my head. So we're on it. We're on it. So yeah.
Lynne, I've not read that Give and Take. Is that a book?
Adam Grant, Give and Take.
Tell us about that. I've not heard of that.
So Adam Grant is my personal. I love Adam Grant. I love his podcast. I love everything about him. I once invited him. So I got him to reply to an email once. Like, he's super famous and super, like,
he is. Love his podcast.
Big time. He has TED Talks and stuff. So I was trying to get him to speak at a conference. This was pre-pandemic. And I said, can I get you to keynote a conference in 2019 as a subject line? Instead, I wrote 3019. And he answered it because it was such a unique subject line. And I got to talk to Adam Grant, which is like, you know what I mean? Goodness. Like, it's like if Matthew met Madonna. Do you know what I mean? And so Adam has written Give and Take, and then also Think Again, two of my favorite books. He also hosts and Originals. And
I love that one.
Yes. He also hosts a podcast. He hosts a book club of Adam, his book club I get every quarter, and they recommend books for you, and it's him and Malcolm Gladwell. And
hey, Lynne, Kendra read Think Again after you recommended it in NYC. Kendra liked it.
So if I don't get any money from this,
pinky promise,
but Next Big Idea Club is what they call it. And they send you a package of 2 or 3 books every quarter. And it's curated by Malcolm Gladwell, Adam Grant, Susan Cain, and Daniel Pink. And I've never had a dud in the books that they've sent me. You can get them digitally, but I like the actual book. And so Adam Grant wrote Give and Take. And Give and Take has a simple premise that there's 2 basic types of people in the world, givers and takers. And that the givers are the most successful people in the world and the least successful people in the world. And the takers are always mediocre. And the reason that the givers are either the most successful people in the world or the least successful people in the world is that they either give too generously or just generously enough that people want to have relationships with them. And as a company, generosity or giving is one of our core values, but I am obsessed with Adam Grant. Give and Take really helped me with my inbox. So Adam Grant has this theory that I love, and I've applied it to my inbox because I'm an inbox zero person, and it used to give me great stress not to be able to reply to everybody within the same day. But he says that your inbox is full of other people's priorities.
Ooh, sit on that one for a little bit, will you?
And so I now have a takers folder in my inbox. I love helping this community, Colton, but as you know, there are 24 hours in the day. And some of them, 2 or 3, I try to spend sleeping. And I'm really working on the past few years trying to do some self-care. It's why I live on an island. It's why I'm working on my mental health, all that good stuff, my physical health, everything. That's why I keep my nails fancy. Self-care, right? Whatever it may be. And if I spend all my free time on the takers, the people who never give, then I'm empty. My pot is empty. So I have a takers folder for people who are like, hi, I have a meeting with my boss tomorrow at 9 a.m. Can I get a copy of a strategic plan? And I'm like, well, that's really how I earn my living. So after their meeting, I kind of am like, hi, I'm sorry I didn't get to you in time. But so I have that. So he has helped me with so many things in my life. I think, again, has helped me rethink. I mean, just anywho, I cannot proselytize him enough. But if y'all want the next one, as I call it, which for some of y'all may be not a next one because his TED Talk came out in 2011, but the current obsession of mine is this Australian gentleman, and his name is Jason Clark. And he has this thing called the 4 Doors of Change Management. I will be rolling it out company-wide soon. Just buckle up, kids, because I'm going to start rolling it out with all of my clients and things. So I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. So
thanks for that, Lynne.
Yes.
We've got a practical question here. If I can jump in. Sorry to give you the whiplash there, but Marcia is asking about Otter for impact reporting. We love that, right? Do you have any tips on larger institutions are scaling the collection of their impact reporting materials? We're currently considering, she's got a dip planner. We're currently considering moving an optional thank you note project for endowed scholarships. Getting student responses is difficult, especially when you don't want to make them mandatory, and Marcia does not. So we agree. No mandatory.
Things you otter do, Marcia. See, I have otters in my life now. There's a otter sticky right there. I have a stuffed otter. And even Shannon, when we launched Otter, the software, ODDER, we have an otter mascot. She adopted an otter at the Marine Mammal Center for me. So I'm an otter mother. I know.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So tips on how larger institutions are scaling the collection of their impact reporting materials. So first of all, we at the Donor Relations Group hold the core tenets of diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and justice very close to our heart. We're launching a 3rd part of our DE&I series this year that is really going to rock some boats. Ashley is so excited and scared to launch it. But we believe that mandatory scholarship recipient thank yous are against diversity, equity, and inclusion beliefs, that students should give the opportunity to give impact about the scholarship on their life, but not by any means be forced to thank a donor. The power dynamic between, the white savior complex and some of our students has gotten out of hand. So first of all, that's one thing. So we are with you. We do not believe in mandatory. And in any institution that accepts federal funding, it's actually illegal to make it mandatory. But that's a whole nother conversation for the Elwood School of Law that I attended. It's my official credentials. I have a degree that's called a doctorate. I might as well have a degree called a Juris L doctorate, right? So the second thing is we now recommend for all of our clients with over 500 funds that they're reporting on, that they tier their impact reporting and their fund reporting. Every donor who's an active donor who has a fund should, by our covenant, receive financial reporting, period. Period, end sentence, period, with a T at the end. However, impact should be given to those who are actively managed in portfolio. So what we've done is we've tiered that out, and we even have tiering documents. I think they're in our downloads. I'm not sure. Or they
If
might
not, they will be coming soon.
Oh, they're coming soon. But we've done webinars on tiering. But what we do is, unless you are a managed prospect, meaning you have a gift officer who's going to be like, hey, Colton, I see recently you received your, you know what I mean, your fund report. Let's follow up on that. Unless they're having someone follow up, because the whole point of reporting is for the donor to give again. If we can all agree on that, then this prospect is very simple. If we can all agree that the whole point of getting a report is so the donor gives again, right, to spur future giving, and it's the right thing to do to report on funds. But the strategical point there is so that the donor gives again, right? If there's no one following up on it and no one asking them for more money, do we think they're just going to drop out of the sky and be like, that was a great feeling, I'm going to go hunt down how to give more money? No. So the donors that get impact are those that have managed relationships and people who are going to ask them for more money to their current fund. Otherwise, who's following up on that? Do I think that Giving Day is just going to be like, it's Giving Day, oh, I'll just drop another $25,000 in my fund then because I got this impact here? If they're not living and managed and currently donating and going to give to you in the future, then the ROI on the work it takes to get those impact statements is slim to none. So that's my advice to you, Marcia. First of all, pitch for Otter. We did a webinar today on Fund Driver Impact and how it can automatically create reports that go into Otter. But the most important thing is financial reporting and then narrative impact reporting. But don't ask for thank you notes. Colorado State has done the most amazing thing. We're going to talk about it in our DE&I webinar series about how students can submit art portfolios, all kinds of things. They can submit videos, they can submit musical performances, but it doesn't have to be a thank you note. So great question, Marcia. Happy to help in any way we can there. We've got a lot of Otter fans and folks who can help you. Lindsay, can you clarify something? So you only suggest that impact reports are sent to only those in caseloads. What about annual giving donors? We are sending this to any donor that gives at least $25. I think I was misheard. So Marcia was talking about individual donors who have individual funds. So Colton gave $50,000 and established the I Am Coco Fund, right? And so that they get the individual impact from the student that was awarded that money, right? So that is one-to-one. If I have an annual donor who gives $25 to a generic scholarship fund, they will get a conglomeration of students who've received financial aid on a PDF that's like, here's Becky, here's Joe, here's, you know what I mean, Mala, here is Marcia, and all of these students are recipients of support to general scholarship funds.
Yep. So I think that the key is it's, you know, that sort of broad-based impact reporting versus some of those like fund reporting. So
yeah, but good question, great clarification. So, and Marcia was on our webinar today. So Colton, yes. Sorry, it's my secret love language. You know, I get too casual sometimes. We've got a whole. It's only March. Oh my goodness.
Woo.
Woo. We've got a whole year ahead of us here in 2023. And think about this. 3 years ago today, we were sitting in our houses just in a very different place than we are now. And so how grateful we are. I remember flying home from UCLA thinking my life and my business was over and we were going to shut it down because I gave speeches in front of people and trained people in person and did consulting. And so you don't have a crystal ball, but what are the things you're excited for as this year progresses, either with the DRG group or within fundraising that you're seeing? What are the things that you're excited to work upon, as our director of operations? What are the things that you're like, ooh, I can't wait to do this?
I am super excited, and I'm loving that I'm seeing this kind of go through the rounds, if you will. But I love this idea of micro events with small guest lists and big impact. I think that is such a change from our COVID landscape, right? We couldn't have those events. Pre-COVID, it was 400 people in a banquet hall. Then you couldn't have any of those type of in-person gatherings. And then now I'm seeing people move to these sort of small guest list, big impact events. And I absolutely love seeing that, because what a neat, intimate way to connect donors to each other, to your institution, and to the causes that we all serve. So I'm loving that. We're loving your new team, Lynne. Oh, thanks. I also am super excited to be able to see people in person again. I mean, I know, Lynne, that is such a life-giving thing for you too. And our Chicago conference, truly not a plug, but I mean, our Chicago conference sold out, and I think people are just really excited to get back together.
Yeah, our New York City one sold out in November of last year. We're seeing huge numbers for in-person conferences. We keep ours small on purpose, so that it's an intimate experience. So you build a cadre, but people are coming back in person. They want that. They want to travel. They want to get away from their families a little bit. They want to, that's why we're doing them in not necessarily cities that are conference cities, but fun cities to go to. New York, Chicago, Vegas, Toronto, places that people actually want to travel to and may add a little personal time, some self-care time for themselves, right? And so I really want people to think about that when they book our conferences. Book a day for yourself, or go meet with other nonprofit professionals in the area, right? I will tell you that for me, I am super nervous, but also super excited, because on March 28th, we launch Fundraising is Funny.
Woo, 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 woo. Now tell us, Lynne, tell us about your project with your bestie.
Yeah, so Clay Buck and I are launching Fundraising is Funny, where we each tell stories of something in fundraising that is hilarious or laugh or cry. We are so excited. I just listened to the first episodes, and we're having a launch party, because who are we if we're not a launch party, on March 28th. And Bloomerang and Give Butter, and we have so many sponsors already who are like, we haven't heard a stitch of it, but we want to support you. And I'm just like,
feeling.
I cried tears.
It feels so good.
Yeah, like all our friends, MSP. Yeah, you can go ahead and subscribe. But our launch party, my goal, my dream is to be that day the #1 launched podcast on that day.
Okay, so folks.
We can rock it to #1, right?
All right, then.
And then be the #1 podcast in the sector. And unlike other podcasts that are very like, we're going to talk about serious issues, it's 80% entertainment, like 10% schnacks, 5% ethics and fundraising lessons, and like 5% God only knows what. That doesn't even add up to 100, but it's also bad math. I mean, I was forever against podcasts. And then one day, Clay and I were sitting in Vegas, where he lives, talking. And I was like, you know what's funny? And we just laugh about our situations. It's the bar conversations that you've always wanted to have, right? It's those conversations like, I can't believe this is happening. And it's funny, laugh or cry. And so I said, we should do a podcast on it. Not like all the other podcasts. And then here we are. And y'all, it's funny. So it's on it's on all your podcast platforms. You can find it on Spotify. But March 28th, and then in June, like launching our whole new website. Oh,
we got some exciting stuff happening, and we're gonna lean into that, what could be space. That's such a cool thing. So
Yeah.
kudos to you, El Capitana, for for leading us through these exciting developments. That's so awesome.
Well, but I couldn't do it without a team. And you now full time as our director of operations are part of that team. So Colton is organizing us and getting us technology driven. And y'all, we have 16 people working hard and they're all busy on projects. Like everybody has 2 or more projects right now. Like if you need us, we're here for you. And we're so excited about it. And just the way that this has just evolved, we're just so proud. So thank you for joining us for our monthly live. Hopefully I'll see you on launch day. If not, we'll see you in April, but we'll see you soon. Thank you, Colton, for joining us. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having me. Bye, friends.